Last weekend I spent it down in Fethard in Tipperary in this amazing walled town. The event itself was hosted by the amazing people at Forge in Ireland, of which I am now a member. If you're interested in forging in Ireland or getting your start in it, these are the best people to get in touch with, so you'll find all the details down below. As you can see, we had an amazing setup for the weekend. I got to practice some forging myself. We had plenty of anvils and a number of forges on the go. But the highlight for me was a masterclass in Viking Age spear making by this wonderful man, Rowan Taylor. I'll leave all his details as well as his YouTube channel down in the description. He spent the duration of the workshop explaining how to forge a Viking iron spear. And as you can see, iron has a very particular grain structure, as you can see in this picture, where it runs in a set direction.
This is mild steel. I would probably cross-beam this to speed it up a little bit. Not a massive fan of cross-beaming wrought iron because that can be quite stressful for the iron and again split the grain open. On stretching material like this I quite like to work both ends. So you've almost got a taper each side and swash down the middle. Maybe that can help. I find that it works more easily. I want it to be slightly thicker at the bit I'm going to weld. Just need to decide which bit that's going to be. I want it to be a little bit thicker on the bit that I'm going to be welding, because I like to have a bit of extra material on fire welds.
Thing down your sides for the socket,
the bit that actually comes across the top of the blade.
Now that structure that I talked about earlier in wrought iron is very important when we look at making something like a spear. As you can see here, Rowan is forging out the socket for the spear shaft to go into. But because of that grain structure, you want it to run perpendicular to the spearhead, not towards the spearhead. Because if it runs towards it, it's a very high likelihood that it will break open as you roll it, as you see Rowan doing here. So he forged this out and then rolled it in the direction the grain structure is running, not having it run forward. Here he has forge welded the what will soon be the tip of the spear onto that shaft. This results in a much stronger spear socket. Very, very interesting approach I've not seen done before, and makes total sense. You'll see what I talk about at the end when you get to see the finished product. And here is the squared head, as you can see, forge welded onto that iron spear socket. And after a little bit of work, he has forged in the spearhead shape itself. And next you can see he's putting the tapers onto this, basically making that diamond cross section and making it into that quintessential spear shape.
Now the important thing here is to make sure that you're tapering it, and you want the thickness at the base of the spearhead to be the same as the thickness at the base of the socket. Does that make sense? What you see on an awful lot of them is people do a full set down and you've got this horrible little just step just pinching in to the blade. You can see I'm having to kind of punch this hammer in to try and save it from that. Just kind of come along, you can actually draw that cutting edge out.
Now for those of you who might not be familiar with iron, it's actually closer to bronze in a lot of ways. And one thing that you can do with iron, and should do with iron, is what you see Rowan doing here. He's work hardening the edges. In other words, he is making them hard by compressing them down with a hammer. And this is what the finished spear was after that workshop. And as you can see, amazing work by Rowan. And if you're interested in spears or purchasing one yourself, cannot recommend them enough. As you can see, this is what I was talking about. This good flat area which your spear shaft would butt up against would make for a much stronger head, way less likely to break, and going to be way more durable. And after the weekend, this is what the spearhead looked like. And all he did was go into a nearby riverbed and spend some time just running a stone over it, getting this lovely finish. So if you're interested in any Rowan's work or getting started in forging, I'm going to leave all the details down below to Forge in Ireland as well as Rowan's work. Really can't recommend him enough. Absolute gentleman and incredibly knowledgeable guy. If you want to sponsor my work, you'll find the details down below too. Thank you very much, and slán.